This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, discounted prices, miniaturemarket.com.
Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Today we're going to be going on a journey over water because we're Vikings and we're going to be on these boats traveling long and far on these journeys trying to get to the spot where we can get off the boats and start killing some monsters. Today we're talking about Champions of Midgard. This is sort of a Euro-style worker placement game that has some dice involved where you're going to be doing some combat with some monsters. It's for 2 to 4 players from Gray Fox Games and plays in about 60 to 90 minutes. Let me show you how it's played. I'll see you on the other side. In Champions of Midgard, you'll be Vikings. You'll get to select which Viking you want to be, and you're going to be earning glory points by defeating monsters and trolls and draugrs. And so you can see the artwork in this game, and everyone gets to pick one of these. Now it is worker placement, so on your turn you will be placing a single worker into one of the many spots. You'll be doing an action and then waiting again for your turn to do that again. Let's go over what some of the different spots are. Now a lot of game revolves around combat, so there's 3 different spots that you can get dice, and there's 3 different types of dice in the game. You've got the swordsmiths, the hafters, and the blacksmiths. And these are going to help you attack monsters later on during the game. These guys have a lot of attack. They have some that have double attack, single attack. These guys have a little less attacks, but these guys also have shields, which will help you in defense. So basically how the game works is pretty standard worker placement. One person can go here only, and they would take all the dice that are here. Now, over the course of the game, these blue spots, every round are going to get filled regardless if things are taken or not, so sometimes there'll be multiple dice here and things will get more exciting to take. There's also tiles here that, depending on the amount of players in the game, come out, and they're random each time. There's some that are economic, there's some that are military, and a certain amount will come out of each depending on how many players, but these will change every game, and they get you certain resources like gold, or you can trade wood for dice, or get wood and food, and trade gold for dice and things like that. The market, the same thing. You can trade wood, gold, or wood itself for a 1-to-1 ratio. Here will allow you to take the start player marker. So this is going to stay with the person until someone takes this. And essentially you'll also get one of these dice from the dice pool. Now if you go here when you have the start player marker, you actually pass this. So if you use this to get a dice and you're in first, this goes away. First player is pretty important here. Adding more workers is really popular in a worker placement game. When you go here, you can get your last worker. In most of the games you're going to start with only 3 workers and your other one's going to be out here. The first person to do this though has to pay $5. And then the second person later in game, $4, $3, $2. So it's really steep to be the first people to get the workers, and I really like that part of this game. And some other spots are essentially you can pay a gold to get some of these favor tokens, which essentially are 2 points at the end of the game, or you can trade them into reroll during battle, which I'll get over later. This Sage's House is cool. You get some of these. Now you get one of these cards to start the game. It's think of it as a hidden goal. And you might basically have the most yellow enemy cards at the end. You'll get 6 if you have the most, 3 if someone ties you. Have the most trolls at the end of the game, 6 if you win, 3. So these are hidden goals that only you can pretty much win, and that's what these are. They also allow you to look at some journey cards, which we'll get to later. Essentially allows you to see the future of what you'll have to face before you go see some monsters. Here you get to put in wood and get one of these 2 cards. Essentially lets you break the rule of the game and get you some points, 3 points, 2 points. You can re-roll dice for free. If you suffered a loss in a round of combat, you can negate it. Essentially these cards break the rules of the game. Now the hunting grounds, you'll see multiple spots. This is the only place where multiple people can go, and you can assign your dice or your warriors there and roll them, and if you get hit, you can get food for a maximum of 6. You're giving up your dice to try to get some food, a little bit of a gambling there. You can go here and fight the troll. This is really cool. We'll get into combat later, but if you put your guy, you're going to be the only one here trying to fight the troll. This is really interesting because if nobody fights the troll, everybody gets one of these blame tokens. These are negative points cascading at the end of the game, but if you do beat the troll, you get to get rid of yours, and you get to give one to somebody else. So this is a very interesting mechanism here. Now on the right here are some more little monsters. These are draugrs. different colors. I'll get to that later, but trolls are by themselves. These guys are different colors along with other monsters. You can go to one of these and fight these guys to try to get points and money, and sometimes you'll get things other than money. Like if you beat this troll, you'll get a piece of wood for resources, and those are some of the monsters in the game. You can also go here and get on a ship. This is going to allow you to put food and Vikings to go down to the ocean to try to fight more monsters. But these boats have capacities. You have a total of 5 of both people and food, capacity of 10, but you got to pay a gold and go here to use the big public longship. You can also go to one of these spots and you can pay some money and some resources and get your own private ship that you'll be able to use throughout the game, because people are fighting for these public ships, but you'll be able to buy some other ships. They also get you points at the end of the game, and they have different capacities, and some of these are only used with a specific number of players, but there's other ships that you can buy in the game as well. Now if I did go on one of those, I would immediately be able to pick which route this longship is going on. So and this is only with 4 players, but you could pick which monster you're trying to fight, and let's just say I go down, I go to this one. So what's going to happen is everyone is going to be placing on these things, and once everyone has done that, then we essentially assign Viking dice. And one last spot also that you can go here is a merchant ship. These are different cards. Every round a new one comes out, just gives you a different place. In this case, a gold equals 2 blacksmith dice. Now when assigning dice, anybody who's in any of the troll or Draugr spots or any of the monsters down below will then assign which dice they want to go ahead with. So for example, maybe I had these 2 dice, and I basically would assign them there. And obviously once they're assigned there, they can't go anywhere else. And anybody who's going down on the journeys would also have to do the same thing, and they would put their people in there. You need food to be able to come down here. You don't need food for the monsters up top. This has a capacity of 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm good. And depending where you're at, if you go to these 2, which are closer to the port, you need 1 food for every 2 dice. But the 2 spots over here, you will need 1 food for every die. So I need to put 2 food because I brought 2 warriors with me. Now once this happens, people will start resolving all these battles. Now how a battle works is essentially this shows you the monster's defense, 2, and how much he hits you, 2. You're going to take your dice and you're going to roll them. Ooh, in this case, I had rolled 2 spears, so he would have died. But the hits happen at the same time, so actually I would lose 2 of my dice. So these guys would be killed and they're gone, but I did kill the troll. Now let's say I did this. I rolled a 1. What happens is this monster will get a... Actually, let's say I did this. I rolled a 1. And so he would get 1 damage. And so I did not kill him, but he has 1 damage and he has 1 left. And he would hit me for 2. Well, a shield means that you can negate 1 of these. So he only really hits me for 1, so this guy dies. If I had more dice, I could say which one died. And then it goes in another round. I have 1 die left. I'm going to roll it. I hit him for 2, which is good. That's the second one. He would be dead. But this guy also hit me for 2. This was not a shield, so this would have died. So both of my guys died, but he died. I would get this guy. I'd get 5 points on the point track immediately, and I would get 1 piece of wood. And of course, I would get to give anybody a blame token and get rid of 1 if I had 1. And the same thing would happen here if people were battling. All that works the same way. Now going down here is a little different. When you go here, you don't know what this is. Some cards, if I reminded you when you went to the space that lets you get one of these cards, you get to look at one of these journey cards. Maybe previously I looked at this, maybe I didn't. But this flips over and something's going to happen. Usually something bad. I'm lost. I have to lose any 2 items, food or warrior dice. So I have to basically say, oh crap, I'll lose this and I'll lose this, and they're gone. And now I have to fight this guy with 1 die. And he has this, and some of the monsters say, hey, I could not have used one of the people with the spears. That's these guys here. This one I couldn't have used a swordsman, which is one of these dice here. So some monsters, you can't use those guys. So here I would have done that, and then I would be able to battle this guy like I showed you before. Some of these are not bad. Some of them are, hey, all quiet, that's good. Other ones are really bad. Like you gotta fight the Kraken first. 2 defense and 1 hurt, but you get 3 points if you beat them, and then you can go on to this. Now when you beat some of these monsters, you'll get, again, points and some of these favor tokens. I talked about these a little earlier, but if I rolled, let's say he had a 1 and I rolled this, I could turn this in. Now remember, this is 2 points at the end of the game, but I could turn it in and re-roll and then try to kill him, and that's what those favor tokens do. And you get one when you do some of these things. And if you kill them, of course, you keep them. Now it's important to know that these monsters have different sort of colors. Blue, and they have a diamond, triangle. Yellow, a diamond, red, and a circle just for color blindness. You're trying to collect sets, because at the end of the game, every set you have of 1 blue, 1 red, and 1 yellow of the monsters, you're going to get 5 additional points. Now, these monsters have this, and the Draugrs up top have them. The trolls don't. So here are Draugrs you're trying to create sets. After everyone's done their battle, it's the end of the round. You're essentially going to clean up. Any of the monsters that were not killed essentially get discarded. New ones come out. We'll go to a different round. Any of these blue spots are getting additional things, as I mentioned earlier, so these will get more and more exciting to go to. Same with the blue ships will flip over. The smokehouse that we didn't talk about earlier, you just get 1 food. Well, now there's going to be another food there because nobody took it, and things will get equally exciting. Now down here, any of these cards that were looked at go away, and new ones would come out. But the monsters, interesting things happen. Anyone that was not killed is going to get a coin. So people are going to be more enticed to go there, and then new monsters are also going to come out, and that's how you set up a next round. Okay, and then this would just continue until you're at the end of the 8th round. And so at the end of the game, you would add up your destiny cards and see if you have any bonuses there. You'd get 5 points for a set of red, blue, and yellow. If you had every 3 gold, gets you 1 point. Every favor token that you didn't use to reroll is 2 points. You might have some rune cards that give you some points. You may have gotten a private ship, which is going to give you some points. And then you're going to subtract your blame, which is, let's say I had 3 blame tokens. We look at this and we say, oh, 3 blame tokens, 6 points. I lost 6 points there. And so then you see who has the most points. Whoever has the most is the winner. Well, it comes a time where you eventually have to review a game that everybody else has been talking so much about. This game has gotten a ton of buzz, a lot of hugely positive reviews, starting back even last summer from Tom Vassell, and many other people have piled on it with some of people's lists of top games of 2015. And so eventually I needed to try it to see what I thought of it for myself, because Euro-style games I like to a point, but then again, some of them I don't. So I really wanted to see how this one fit in. Now this has most often been compared to with Lords of Waterdeep, which is another sort of worker placement game and sort of a fantasy realm, completely different theme, D&D versus Vikings. But everyone says it sort of feels like Lords of Waterdeep, but with like a better theme. So let's start there for this game. Now it's a worker placement game. It's pretty much you're deciding where to go. People are hogging spots. You've got this tension of trying to figure out where to go. But what really makes this game different are those dice. It really changes the way that things happen. You're going on these journeys, and there's a lot of uncertainty, a lot more uncertainty in this game than say a straightforward Lords of Waterdeep, where you're going somewhere to get these cubes, and then you're going to go somewhere to finish a quest that you have in your hand that you know exactly what you need, and you have it. Boom, I'm going to do a quest, I'm going to pass these in, and I'm done. This is not so easy. This is where you're looking at these journeys. Some of the times you can spend an action, and by the way, actions are at a premium here because you're only most of the time having normally three people to place out, unless you get extra workers, but 3 people to place out. And there's only 8 rounds. You only have probably about 24 actions per game unless you get more extra workers. So they mean a lot. And to go to a space to look at a journey card to see where you're going means a lot, right? So you're going to go in a spot, you may or may not know it's there, and you may get through scot-free. Or you may lose a couple of Vikings or some food or both. You might have to fight a Kraken. Okay, then after you do that, then you got to fight the monster. Then you've got dice and you're rolling dice, and you could get a good roll, you could get a bad roll. Maybe luckily you brought a guy that has a shield and hey, he defended and you get to roll again, and these combats keep going over and over again. So there's a less assurity, which I thought might be not as fun at first and when you hear about it. Because I'm not really into combat rolling games. I'm not into dungeon crawls. I'm not into fantasy games where I'm rolling dice and trying to kill monsters. It's just not something I enjoy, but I know that the board game community really loves it, which is why I wanted to finally review this. And I found that I actually didn't think at the end what I thought I was going to think of this. I thought just the rolling the dice was going to be, well, it just gives me less assurity, I'm not really going to like it, but it actually evolves a better strategy, I think, where you have to look at the dice and see what's available and go, you know what, all right, I got to get rid of a guy. Which guy do I get rid of? Do I get rid of the guy who can give me the double axe, or do I get rid of the guy who can have the shield? Well, who am I fighting? This guy has not a lot of defense, but has a lot of hits on me. Well, maybe it sounds stupid, but maybe I'll get rid of the axe guy and I'll keep the guy with the shield, hopefully, because he only needs 1 hit. Maybe I won't get a guy killed. So you've got this different strategy in there. Yes, different things can happen. The dice do it, but there's different ways to mitigate that. There's those, the different the favor tokens allow you to re-roll things. I really like the aspect of, first of all, a lot of times in worker placement games, a lot of the strategies people go after is just get as many workers as you can at the beginning and then flush them out towards the end. This game really changes that because it's $5 for the first person to go get your first worker, and then it's cheaper for everybody else. And $5 is a lot of money in this game because money can be tight. So it really knocks that off where you can't just go get more workers. You really have to pay for it dearly. So I like how it sort of evened that. I like that whole aspect of the troll, which is really cool. It's like, hey, if nobody fights him, we're all getting blame. But if I fight him and beat him, I get rid of the blame, and I get to give one to whoever I want. This is huge, because towards the end of the game, some people are going to be fighting for those big monsters trying to finish their sets. Other people are going to be fighting for the troll and going, we both have 3 blame. If I beat him, I take 1 away from me, give 1 to him, I get 2, he gets 4. That's a huge point swing. I like that. It gives you different things to focus on at the end. It's tight. Overall, I really liked it. Personally, I still prefer Lords of Waterdeep because I would rather just, know what I'm getting, know what I need, get there and be done with the card. I like how that game has a lot more interaction where you can really mess people over. I like messing with my buddies with those intrigue cards. So personally, I like Lords of Waterdeep better, but that's my own personal preference. I can see why people really talk highly about this game because I can say, yeah, it does sort of feel like a Lords of Waterdeep, but at the same time, it still feels very different in many respects, and I like a lot of the mechanisms in the game. So I can definitely recommend this as a very well-designed game. I mean, this is the same guy that designed Police Precinct, which I love so much. So it's a great game. Now, is it for you? Well, if you like the Ameritrash, dice rolling, killing monsters types of things, you'll probably like this better than Lords of Waterdeep. If you don't and you want more precise, you want to not have to roll dice, you want to be able to know what to get, and then when you get there, you know you've completed it, a little more safer, a little more on the Euro side, then Lords of Waterdeep is probably a better pick for you. Can you have both? I think so. For me, I don't need both. But for you, you might still, they're different enough, even though they're similar, that if you really love the genre of worker placement and you really love this whole idea of going on quests and stuff and doing these different things, you might like one. You might have a group of friends that really love the Euro stuff and you play that, and you might equally like this game and play this with more of your Ameritrash friends, that more of a hybrid Euro game. So I see its place. It's a good game. It's good designed. It's not one that's going to take anything off my shelf, but it is a solid game, and certain people are going to love it. Certain people are going to think it's good, but not the greatest. It just depends where you are, what your personal preferences are, but it is a very solidly designed game, and that's Champions of Midgard.
This video was sponsored by Miniature Market's Review Corner. The Review Corner features podcasts, video, and written game reviews by gamers for gamers. Miniature Market, the online gaming superstore. Thousands of board games, discounted prices. Check them out at miniaturemarket.com.